Hi, it's Mara, and I wanted to make another video today. You may have just seen my 6-week post-surgical video, but there's been something I've been seeing a lot on online groups and a lot of questions that a lot of new people have. People who are just getting ready to have their surgery or just going through the process, whatever their insurance requires. Most insurance in the United States requires you to have a psychiatric appointment. So the psychiatrist or psychologist can approve you going through the surgery. This is not scary. This is not scary at all. These people are here, there. These people are only trying to help you and help your doctor. Can they help you past just your surgery? Absolutely, because you can see them afterwards if if you want to, if your insurance approves it, whatever. Can they deny you for surgery? They can recommend that you have more appointments, that you postpone your surgery, and deal with whatever's going on. So if you go in there and they find that you are having something that they think is going to derail your weight loss post-surgery, then they will recommend that you have more appointments with them or more appointments with some psychiatrist, psychologist to deal with your anxiety, depression, body dysmorphia, severely unrealistic goals of what surgery can do for you. And there's a variety of things that they might recommend that you need some more help. Because as we know, and as anyone will tell you, and you will see this and hear this thousands of times from different sources, when the surgeon operates on you, he's only operating on your body. He's not operating on your mind. If you have problems with food that deal with things that you haven't personally dealt with, then it's not going to help you to have surgery. And you're going to be more depressed and more upset if you don't see the results for some people immediately, that you're expecting. So when we're stressed and upset and depressed, when we're trying to lose weight, it actually backfires because your hormones kick off in your body, and it makes it harder to lose weight because your body thinks we're in distress, so we need to hold on to our calories in case we need, fight or flight. So what will the psychiatrist ask you? Each psychiatrist is different. I'll tell you what mine did. Mine, it was set aside for a 2-hour appointment, and I was only with her for an hour. She wanted to know why I was heavy. She had questions about my household. Was I happy at home? Did I have support? Was there anyone who I felt was going to derail me with my surgery and my weight loss goals? What were my weight loss goals? I had to do a identifying test, like if I said spring, fall, and winter, what season is missing? It was like a 20-question thing, and I had to draw a picture. I had, recreate a picture that was already drawn. The best advice is go in there and be honest. You don't have to reveal all your interpersonal demons. They might just want to know that you have realistic goals. They will ask, my doctor asked me, do you understand the lifelong complexities with this surgery? Do you understand that you may not always see the weight loss goals that you want? Do you understand that this is only going to be on your body? It's not going to be on your mind. Why? She wanted to know why I personally ate. Why did I weigh, nearly 300 pounds? I weigh 300 pounds at my highest. How did I get that way? So here's my story. And this may be TMI, and you can turn it off now, but when I was a child, my parents had a neighbor who just loved me. And so she became sort of my surrogate mom in a way, because my mom worked full time, my dad worked full time, and this woman did not work full time. And she was a great woman. And from the time I was about 2 until I was about 8, I spent summers with her. I spent weekends when my parents wanted to go away. She babysat me, after school and various things like that. And during the day when I was little. Well, she had a stepson, and that stepson was going through puberty at the time, and he decided that the 2-year-old me was the perfect person to experiment with his sexual needs. So from the time I was 2 until I was about 6 or 7, I was raped repeatedly by this kid. And I blocked it out. For years I blocked it out. Because I did the right thing. I have a very clear memory of being maybe 3 years old and having just been raped, and he cleaned me up in the bathroom and he put me out in the living room and he went back to bed. And he said, so I was pretty upset. I mean, it was painful. I didn't understand what was going on. And he had a sister. And I said to her that he had touched me. He had done bad things to me. And she said, I know he's been doing that, but you can't tell anybody because he'll get in trouble and he'll be taken away. And as I said, this family I was around all the time, and so I loved this family completely. And like I said, I considered them my foster mom, my foster dad in a way. They took me on vacations to South Carolina, and I did everything with them. And so his sister then played me a song on the guitar, and I think I went to sleep or, something like that. And then some years later, when it was still going on, I told another family member of mine, not theirs, I told a family member that this had been going on. Now, remember, I was a little kid. And he said, well, you always have been a flirt, so, and you dress in a way that makes boys think of you like that. Okay, so you can imagine, once again, I didn't tell anybody. And at this point, I just had suppressed the memories. And I've heard so many stories from my family saying, you used to be a really skinny kid until you could open up the fridge, or, until you were like in about first or second grade, and, and all this. And then you just started getting big. And I suppose in my mind, it was just a way to protect myself. Well, if I had been a flirt, then I should become shy. If I had dressed sexy, then I should get so heavy that I have to wear husky clothes instead of, cute little dresses. So I totally suppressed all this, as I was saying, until I was 16 or 17 years old. And the guy I was dating at the time was being really weird. And I said, well, what's going on? He said, oh, there's something really big in my life going on. I can't tell you. And, but come to school tomorrow and I will tell you. And so I went to school tomorrow, and he came up to me and he said, okay, I've just written you a letter because it's really complicated, and I just want to tell you. So he had written me, say, a 9-page letter. And I went to my first period class and I read this letter. And he was being charged with molesting a child. He and some other boys had gone to the next door little girl, and he says that the older boys had done the molesting and he hadn't done anything, but he had kept it shut. He hadn't told anybody. So he was also being charged. Now, I completely remembered everything at that time. And I freaked out and started crying and I just literally ran out of my classroom. The teachers were chasing me down the hall, and I went to a really big high school, so it was really easy to hide. And they found me crumpled up on the ground, just sobbing hysterically, and makeup just running down my face. And they're like, what's wrong? And I wouldn't stop crying. I wouldn't stop like almost screaming. And they took me to the principal and they took me to the counselors and there at the school. And I just said, I want my mom. And yeah. So I didn't go back to school for a little while. I didn't talk to my boyfriend at the time for a little while. And I told my mom about it, and she was completely in shock because she says she had no idea that it happened. So I went to a therapist, and I dealt with it. I dealt with it as well as you can. And I was very upfront about this. So I told this to this therapist, this weight loss therapist. This is why I think that I had gained a lot of weight. And at one point in a couple of years after that in high school, I had lost some weight, not in a healthy way. I was taking caffeine pills and drinking Jolt, which is double the sugar, double the caffeine, and eating practically nothing. And I had a boyfriend that I really liked. Different boyfriend that I really liked. And he wanted me to sit on his lap. And he said, he then later on told some mutual friends of ours, I think she weighs almost like 180 pounds. Oh my God, she's huge. And after that, it was all downhill. I just gained weight. So the therapist the weight loss therapist is like, well, so you gained weight so that guys wouldn't find you attractive anymore. And I was like, well, I suppose in theory, but the reality is that guys still find me attractive. Even at 300 pounds, I was flirted with. I'm married. I assume my husband finds me attractive. So, but it wasn't but it's not now at 45 years old. It's nothing that I think holds me back in life. Sometimes there'll be things where I'll just, something will happen, either with my husband or when I'm out or something on TV or movie or, some situation. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, that's bad. Like anytime there's a red light, can't be around a red light because the guy who molested me had a red light in his lamp because it was the 70s and he was just cool like that, whatever. So red lights, not a big, like light bulbs, something that just bothers me. And I know why. Anyway, back to what the therapist is going to ask you. You don't have to be as honest as I was. If you have issues that you've dealt with like that, then don't mention them. I mean, you can't, it doesn't really, it's not really going to impact you other than you might just say, I gained weight because I didn't want to be attractive to men or women or whatever your thing is. You might, whatever your thing is, if you're abused by your parents, you can mention it, but it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to turn into a let's talk about this for 3 hours kind of a therapy appointment. So at the end of my appointment, like I said, my doctor's like, okay, I'm going to give the approval. It'll take me a while to write up the paperwork, and then you have to come back and we'll go over everything and we'll sign it. And then you'll be approved for the surgery because this was my last thing that I needed to do other than one last nutritionist visit. So therapists are not scary people. They honestly are just there to listen to you and help you and want the best for you because they're generally empathetic, caring people, and they get paid to do it, we know. So they really do want what's best for you. Don't be afraid. Don't be nervous. Just be yourself. And if you are nervous, just say, I'm nervous because I've never been to a therapist, or I'm nervous because I'm worried about getting my surgery and that you might, that I might say something that's going to upset the process. Be upfront about it. Don't hide it. Just be yourself. Be kind, be truthful, try to be as relaxed as possible, and I think everything will work out well. And if it doesn't work out, if they want to see you more, then go see them more because they're not doing this just so they can hold back your surgery. They're doing this for a really valid reason, and they will try to help you in any way they can. I promise. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, you can put them in the comments, and I will answer them. And hopefully I didn't freak anybody out with my reveal story because it's really not a big deal to me now. And it's not entirely a big deal to most people that are going to see this as far as my family's concerned, because most of them know about it. Because as I said, I'm pretty upfront about it. But anyway, so take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.